So among the many traditional greetings at this time of year, one of the most popular is to say to people, L'Shana Tova. And we translate this phrase as to a good year, to a happy year. And we do so because we think the phrase L'Shana Tova is meant to serve as a parallel to the phrase L'chaim, which means to life. However, this assumption on our part is erroneous. For the lamed, that is at the beginning of L'Shana Tova, is not, in fact, translated correctly as to. It is, I am told by those who are really expert in grammar, the dative prefix. I have no idea. And I'm also told that in this case, it can never mean to. It can only be translated as for. Because L'Shana Tova is a shorthand for the full greeting, which is L'Shana Tova Tikatevu, which is translated as, may you be inscribed for a good year. The origin of this greeting, L'Shana Tova Tikatevu, is very interesting. It is based on a midrash, a rabbinic teaching going back 2,000 years, when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, one of the pivotal leaders of Jewish history, taught that on Erev Rosh Hashanah, on this very night, two books, he said, are opened. A book of life, Sefer Chaim, and a book of death, Sefer Mavet. And on this day, at this time, God begins the process of deciding which book we are to be written in. And hence the custom began to say on Erev Rosh Hashanah, L'Shana Tova Tikatevu, may you be inscribed in the book of life. What is the intent behind this greeting? Some say that it is to express a hope. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu, I hope you may be inscribed in the book of life. I have to say, not my particular favorite understanding, because it kind of sounds like you've got some doubt about the person. Right? It kind of sounds like, look, I know you, I've seen you. Maybe you're good, maybe not. May you be inscribed, I hope, in the book of life. Then another way of understanding it is based on the concept that we who judge others favorably will ourselves be judged favorably. And so in this way, L'Shana Tova Tikatevu is a wish. I wish to judge you favorably, so dear God, I may be judged favorably as well. Also not my favorite. My favorite understanding is this, that L'Shana Tova Tikatevu is neither a hope nor a wish, but it expresses a deep-seated belief. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu expresses the belief that I believe in you, whether I know you or not. L'Shana Tova Tikatevu means that even though I know or can just assume that like me you are not perfect, that you are flawed, that over the course of this year you may have done things like me that we're not proud of, that you have done things like me where we have hurt other people, that in spite of those flaws, L'shana tovati katevu, may you be inscribed in the book of life, means that I still think you are worthy. That you are worthy and that you can still be a vehicle of holiness and a source of blessing to those around you and to this world. L'shana tovati katevu means that I acknowledge, that I see you, and that I assume that, like me, you are a decent, good person, in spite of all of the flaws. And therefore, you are worthy of being written in the book of life. Now, my friends, we cannot underestimate the power that such acknowledgement of the other's worthiness possesses. While I know we all do many things in our lives because we believe them to be the right and proper thing, and I know we all do many things in our lives for which we know when we're doing them we will receive no acknowledgement for them. But let us remember that the acknowledgement we have received on those occasions has elevated us. That the acknowledgement we receive for what we have done, or even for just who we are, brings sweetness to our lives and comforts our soul. It outrightly just makes us feel good about ourselves. There is a rabbinic teaching that says that Reuven, the son of the brother of Joseph, Aaron, the brother of Moses, and Boaz, the man who owned the fields that Ruth would work in, that each one of these men does a good deed. Reuven will prevent his brothers from killing Joseph. Aaron will go out to greet his brother according to the Torah, as his brother leaves Midian and comes back to help lead the people out of Egypt. And Boaz will see this Moabite woman in the field and will make sure that she gets some parched corn, some food, so that she may survive. But the rabbis go on and teach that had they known that each one of these deeds would have been written down as it is written in our sacred literature, if they had but known that they were going to be acknowledged for what they were going to do, they would have done those deeds, but even more so. Reuven would have picked Joseph up and run with him back to his father Jacob. Aaron wouldn't have just gone out to greet his brother, but he would have approached him with song and dance, befitting the one who would lead us to salvation. And Boaz wouldn't have given Ruth just some parched corn, but would have given her supplies that would have lasted her forever. Now here, we might become a little cynical, and we might say, sure, anytime anyone is being watched, they do better. In fact, there have been scientific studies done to prove this. They have gone so far as to give people a test, one group in a room with a mirror and one without. And the people who had the mirror and therefore could see themselves and sense themselves being watched, they were more honest and ethical in their test taking. So yes, we could be cynical. But I don't think the rabbis want us to be cynical here. On the contrary, these men were already doing good deeds, and what it's saying is how much more they would have done if they known that they were going to be acknowledged. Not that they weren't going to do something good, but they would have done it even more so. If we reflect upon our own actions, I think we can understand and sense the wisdom and truth behind this teaching. And the Torah teaches us also the power of not acknowledging someone. We have at the very beginning of the Bible the story of Cain and Abel, how both Cain and Abel bring offerings to God, how Abel will bring an animal, best of his flock, as a sacrifice, and how Cain will bring fruits from the field, and how God will accept Cain's offering, but not the other way around. Will accept Abel's offering, but not Cain. And Cain will then invite his brother out to the field and will kill him. Why does he kill him? Our assumption is because Abel's sacrifice was accepted and his was not. However, any number of commentaries suggest, no, it didn't have to do with Abel's sacrifice being accepted. It's just that his own sacrifice was never acknowledged. He himself brings forth an offering, and there is no comment. There is nothing about it at all. And in that pain of being rejected through such lack of acknowledgement, he goes on to kill his brother. In this sense, the Torah suggests to us that much of the pain that exists on an intimate level, one-on-one, between people, can be assuaged by acknowledging the other and expressing our belief in their worthiness and in the worthiness of their actions. My friends, we live in a cynical world. We live in a world where we are constantly doubting the other. We're constantly wondering about their motives. And we always seem to be willing to assume the worst. Perhaps we do so because we're fearful of appearing naive. Or perhaps we seek to build ourselves up by putting them down. I really don't know. But I do know this, that such an approach is not helping. It is not making this world better. It is not making us happier. It is not making us more content. But we can change that. You and I have the power to change all of that. All we have to do is acknowledge people. Acknowledge what they've done for us. Compliment. See them. See them as being worthy, and let them know that you think that they are, in fact, worthy. In doing this, on a day-by-day basis, we start affirming our faith in one another and in our goodness. And so I say to you tonight, with true intent and a heart really filled with love and gratitude, L'shana tova tikatevu. May you all be inscribed in the book of life. You are worthy of it. Amen.